Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It is Connor. We are back with another video today. Today, I wanted to speak about 5 Manor Solomon alternatives. And why is that? Well, the reason I wanted to speak on this is because we've got a sneaky feeling. Apparently, now Solomon's representatives are in contact with Marseille, and according to Get French Football News, who we've had on the channel before, a good group of lads and reputable as well. They're suggesting that apparently Manor Solomon is open to the idea of moving to Marseille, and De Zerbi's men, of course, who've been absolutely fantastic this season, finishing second in the division, Champions League football. And it looks like maybe Manor Solomon might want to return there. So today, in our second video of the day, we will be doing Connor's 6 picks tomorrow, of which is going to be my transfer targets I will be looking at in terms of improving Leeds United. So if you want to join, we are going to be live at 10 a.m. tomorrow. It's going to be a bit of a rumour mill, but it is also going to be me talking about my 6 picks. So make sure you tune in for that one. But today I wanted to talk about some alternatives to Manor Solomon. And what I want to bear in mind and what I want to talk about, everybody, is top-level experience, because I think that's really important. It doesn't have to be in the English Premier Leagues. I think a lot of the time now we see from the European circuit so many players coming over and being able to transfer a lot of their attributes into the Premier League. It is a high standard division, but if we actually look at the amount of foreign players in this division who some of the top teams have picked out from the continent, we have to take that into consideration. It isn't just proven Premier League players who Leeds United are going to be targeting, and we can't do that anyway because it's going to be a premium. You look at the PSR that Leeds United are able to work within as well, which we explained on the video this morning. Leeds can't be shelling out 20 million here and 25 million there. It just cannot happen without any sort of player sale slash, obviously, outgoing. It's obvious. So I wanted to talk about players that are very similar to Manor Solomon, but also might add something a little bit different as well. I wanted to basically just also come on here and say that it's not the end of the world if we don't get Manor Solomon. The cold hard facts, everybody, are I like Solomon. I would have taken a punt on Manor Solomon, and I still would take a punt on him. We spoke this morning about a loan option, which I think would be a really good option for the club. But if we can't get Manor Solomon, we can't get Manor Solomon. I was making reference not long ago to spending some money on Solomon, but when you reflect on it and you think about it, how much would you actually spend on Solomon? We mentioned about 2 weeks ago about a specific alternative to Manor Solomon, who I'm going to get into in this video. But also alongside that, there are multiple alternatives to Manor Solomon for a very good price. So it's not throwing every cent we have at Manor Solomon and Tottenham, so we've got nothing left in the coffers to spend on other options. I'm also going to come up with some pretty, maybe shocking revelations in here that you guys might not agree with. So let me know in the comment section below if you do or you don't agree with it, of course. And join us tonight, obviously, on the other channel, Conor McGilligan, to go through the Bristol City and Sheffield United game, of course. So my first alternative to Manor Solomon is someone who packs an absolute punch, someone who has had top-level experience previously. Once again, it's one of those key tick boxes. Someone who is a powerhouse, a proper athlete, who I always mention is very quick, physical, speed merchant, very, very agile as well. And he has been one of the main components in getting this Serie B side promoted this season. And it's someone who I've mentioned before. It's Armand Loriente, who has been Sassuolo's main outlet this season. As you can see there, his traits, his shot attempts, right up in the 90s. He's only 26 years of age, very similar to that of Manor Solomon. As you can see there, everybody in Serie B, he's absolutely murdered it this season, and he's been Sassuolo's best player as they go into Serie A next season. He's part of the Rennes product line, of which we can see there on his career, part of Lorient as well. And he is someone who I would look to take a punt on, a left wing. As I've said, I've mentioned him a little bit about 2 weeks ago, actually. Had my eye on him this season, and he's a phenomenal player, in my opinion, and someone who could transition into the Premier League. And the context is, everybody, that left winger position, I don't think is primary for Leeds United, even if Manor Solomon doesn't re-sign for the club. And I'm going to get onto that with my final 2 picks. But what I will say is someone like Loriente, I feel, would transition, has played in the top level, and I do feel would be exceptional at Leeds United. I just feel his traits, how he plays, his explosiveness, and the success we've seen from someone like Manor, I think that would fit, once again, absolutely perfectly into this Leeds United starting. Starting lineup. So the next one I wanted to speak on as well is my second pick, really. And this is probably going to raise a few eyebrows for you guys. And it's Christos Solace. Now, we spoke a bit context-wise about Christos Solace a long time ago. Now, he's a Greek product. He was seen as one of the most exciting players in Europe before he signed for Norwich in the Premier League. Now, he was a kid. He was a kid when he signed for Norwich. I believe he was 18 years of age. Didn't have the most comforting time there. He was brought in as a big player, big name signing, and Norwich, obviously on their data-led recruitment plan, brought him in expecting a big things from him. Didn't quite work out that way. But since then, his time at Fortuna Dusseldorf, where he's absolutely smashed it. When it comes to goal return, you can see there, 24 goals in 37 games, albeit not been at the top level. And then the most notable one has been this season. And I want to discuss his stature as well. He's a very small, diminutive, pack-a-punch player as well. He cuts in off that left-hand side onto his right foot. And I noticed him against Man City this season. And then I noticed him against Atalanta. Then you notice him against Villa. And then you notice him a lot more in the Champions League. He's got 4 goal contributions in 12, and he looks like a completely different player. A completely different player. For Club Brugge this season in the Pro League, he's got 19 goals and 13 assists. Which is unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. So, and that's not just the Pro League, as I've just mentioned previously. That's the goal contributions had in the Champions League as well. So he's flying this season, done exceptionally well. He's 23 now. He's matured like a fine wine, like a cracking mature cheddar. He looks like a completely different player, and according to a lot of Belgian reports, it's a new brand of Solace. That's what I read earlier on today. So he's someone who we can keep an eye on when it comes to a potential signing as well. Very, very similar, and arguably packs maybe a better shot, potentially a better shot than our friend Manor Solomon, I would say. But yeah, that's someone to keep a keen eye on as well. So apologies, guys. I'm just updating the spreadsheet here for which we're going to look on for our third name as well. So this guy in particular is someone who, if you're not aware of him right now at Rem, he is flying, absolutely flying. He's done so well this season. And the reason I came across him actually was one of our Japanese subscribers. We're talking, I was glowing a little bit earlier on about how Tanaka is speaking about him all season, of course. And they're doing so well in terms of products. They've got 66 goals across the European leagues this season. The Japanese players, including Maeda, including Mitoma, including Minamino, but this individual in particular, Kubo as well. Don't forget him. What an outstanding talent he is at this moment in time. It's Kato Nakamura at Rem. He is a bit of a Swiss Army knife. Can play on the left wing, can play left midfield, can play attacking midfield, and has actually played striker as well. He's someone who, once again, young, cuts in off that left-hand side onto his right foot and looks like a real talent this season. A real talent, and someone who I think a lot of European clubs are keeping an eye on. Just that, actually, going back to Christos Solace as well, guys, something I didn't mention about Christos, I should say, is that Arsenal have actually sent scouts to watch him in the January period. So he's really, sort of getting the attention of some of the top European clubs. But Nakamura as well, as you can see this season, he's doing really well. Someone who's another Japanese product, and we've mentioned this several times really when it comes to the valuation of these players. You're looking at Solace has done really well, but when we're talking about Manor Solomon in a 20, 25, some people even saying pay whatever we can, whatever money we need to pay that money for Solomon. I don't think we need to do that. I don't think we need to do that because there are a lot of alternatives on the market right now. Armand Loriente, I think, gives a very explosive package when it comes to someone off that left-hand side, cutting on his right foot. Nakamura is a little bit more of an elegant player who will roll those shin pads down, almost quite Jack Grealish in terms of how he slaloms off that left onto his right foot and into that middle area. And someone who links a lot with that striker, who if we bring in a proficient striker, it could be a really nice pattern there. Solace is probably a little bit more like your Lorientes in terms of packing a punch, that power onto the his right foot off that left-hand side. So I think there's a lot of profiles there who we could look at, and some who very, very much would improve Leeds United. But is it a real problem? Are we kind of looking at that and we're thinking off the left-hand side, we need a Nakamura? Are we looking at it and thinking we need a Solace? Are we looking at it and thinking we need a Loriente? They're sort of my 3 picks from the European circuit. But the reason I've mentioned 5 is because we've already got them. Leeds have already got them. Willie Gnonto, I've mentioned this throughout the season, and he played there for Leeds United in the Premier League. If you don't remember him playing there in the Premier League for Leeds United, I'll just hark you back to Old Trafford under Scabala when he cut in off that left-hand side onto his right foot and drilled one in the bottom corner. Willie Gnonto, I think, is better off that left-hand side than he is centrally and off that right-hand side. I think he's much better and fits the profile of a Loriente, fits the profile of a Christos Solace. Very similar. Protects the ball well. Good on both feet. Low centre of gravity. Very similar to those two. Your Nakamura is a little bit taller, a little bit more gangly, as I've mentioned before, a little bit of a slalom-esque, low shin pad, Jack Grealish player off that left-hand side. And the 5th player is Largi Ramazani off that left-hand side. So do we focus on these left players? Are we bothered about your Lorientes, your Nakamuras, your Solaces, your Jack Clarks, your Jaden Philogines, players of that ilk? Or do we go on that right-hand side and invest in there, which I think is the more important, and the attacking midfield? Because I think Leeds is 5, Ramazani and Gnonto comprise of those 5. The other 3 are just selections of which I'm a fan of. You know, I was pointed towards Nakamura, and I absolutely love how he plays. Loriente and Solace are ones that I've kept an eye on now for 6 or 7 months. But I've also kept an eye on these 2. The best part of a year with Ramazani, of which he's not had enough minutes, and Willie Gnonto. The sustenance on that left-hand side of Gnonto and Ramazani is as good as what it was last season in terms of Solomon and Ramazani is a combination for me. Willie Gnonto and Ramazani is more than enough. If you want sustenance, you can go out and get maybe a Jack Clark who can push Leeds up the field, can win free kicks, Jaden Philogene, whatever. That sort of profile. But I'm a massive, massive fan of the options that we have now off that left, and then invest, if you can, Leeds United on that right. And then we can buffer up that bit with Dan James over there as well. But guys, let me know what you think on this one. Let me know in the comment section below if you've got any alternatives. Interested to hear. Check out the video from early on the channel. Also, make sure you're checking us out on the Conor McGilligan channel, where we go through the Bristol City Sheffield United game. We'll see you in a bit.